morning, officials from Canada and the U.S. met again today, working to try and reach a deal and avoid the implementation of 50% tariffs.
The three-day pause announced on Tuesday expires tomorrow at midnight, but officials say progress is being made. CTV's Michael Couture has more from Washington.
After returning from Ottawa early this morning, Canada-U.S. Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc and Canadian negotiators held their longest session of talks with their American counterparts thus far. How close are we? The meeting lasted 3 hours and included the Prime Minister's Chief of Staff, Marc-André Blanchard, while Canada's ambassador to the U.S., Mark Wiseman, was only in there for the first hour of the discussions. LeBlanc said little at the conclusion of the conversation, but he tried to reassure Canadians as the latest deadline is just over 24 hours away.
Canadians expect us to get a deal that's in the economic interest of Canada and Canadian workers. We're very close. We continue to make progress, and we're going to stay here and do the work that's necessary until we get to that point.
The three sources tell CTV News that there are reductions in Section 232 tariffs on the table as part of the agreement, but it's unclear how far those levies would go down. They would affect industries like steel, aluminum, and autos. We're also hearing from the premiers who were briefed by the Prime Minister about the talks. One of the concessions Canada has put on the table is returning American alcohol to store shelves. While many premiers seem supportive, not all are happy with Canada's concessions.
He's confident that they will reach an agreement, and as part of this agreement, he asked all of the provinces, as a sign of good faith, would we put U.S. liquor back on our shelves, and we all agreed.
They gave us some details, and other stuff they said they're still nailing down. I think we should fight. I think we've got the upper hand. They're back on their heels right now. They're coming to us for a deal, and so I think we should fight.
It's unclear if more meetings have been planned for Friday, but as Minister LeBlanc said as he left the meeting, they will continue to have more negotiations until they get a deal that's good for Canadians. Michael Couture, CTV News, Washington.
So you heard some of the premiers mention the contentious U.S. alcohol ban, but we have not heard from Doug Ford.
The usually outspoken leader of this province, who pulled American alcohol from store shelves back in March of last year, has been remarkably silent. CTV's Queen's Park Bureau Chief Siobhan Morris joins us live now with that side of the story. Siobhan.
Well, typically just the words Donald Trump are enough to send the premier off on a rant, but Doug Ford has been out of public view, and Ontario's next step is unclear. After almost a year and a half in boxes, putting American alcohol back on the shelves of liquor stores across the country appears to be back on the table. A plea from the Prime Minister to premiers.
I wouldn't say that he was begging us, but what is a step before begging?
Manitoba's premier hasn't committed to restocking U.S. booze. Doug Ford and his office silent on their thinking. Last week, Ontario's premier said he needed to see a fair deal protecting steel, auto, forestry, agriculture, and manufacturing.
We'd be more than happy to bring booze back on the shelves only if we have a deal that's going to protect those sectors.
Political analyst Scott Reed believes Ford is considering carefully what to say and how.
Knowing that he's probably going to have to cooperate, but he's going to have to determine what tone he sets as he does that.
Wap Canoe offered one path.
You got an egomaniac in the White House,
invoking the Epstein files and what Canoe calls a misguided war in Iran.
I think Donald Trump is very weak. He's about to get slaughtered in the midterms, and the cost of living is the #1 issue, and he is completely out of touch with the cost of living of Americans. I think we should fight.
If Doug Ford echoes that combative tone.
That's a concern for Mark Carney, because we have seen in the past that when Doug Ford speaks out, Donald Trump pays attention, and he does not like it.
Ontario has close to $80 million worth of American booze in storage. Bottles no shoppers we could find are rushing to crack open.
I wouldn't buy it because it's American.
I think that's fine, but I think, you know, I didn't buy very much American products before.
I'll just stick to my Canadian beer and my Red Stripe and all that.
There's an air of defiance of the U.S. president, too.
We can't just give in to him every time he wants something.
Worried the concession may not be worthwhile.
Now, Premier Wap Canoe does have some advice for shoppers when U.S. booze is back on the shelf. Leave it there and go with a Canadian option instead. Reporting live from Queen's Park, I'm Siobhan Morris. Sarita, back to you.
Thank you, Siobhan. Also tonight, it's barely days old, but Ontario's new cash bail law is getting pushback from a judge. The bail decision in a big human trafficking bust adding fuel to a constitutional challenge.
But first, we take a live look at our skyline and a beautiful blue sky and more to come as we near the weekend. Very comfortable temperatures as well. Lindsay Morrison is here with all the details. Lindsay.
A really nice evening, Michelle, and a great looking day for tomorrow. I wish I could say I had just as good news for the weekend, but alas, things are going to be changing. This evening, though, yes, very comfortable. 23 degrees this hour at Pearson Airport and just a hint of humidity. So really what you see is what you get. It doesn't feel too much warmer than the temperature suggests. Winds out of the south right now. Nice little light breeze off Lake Ontario. And on the satellite and radar, we've got a mainly clear sky. A little bit of cloudiness around the 401 corridor, but all that cloud that we experienced at times early this morning, that has moved out. It's a nice looking evening. It's a bit of a cool overnight. 12 degrees is what we're forecasting for a low. Just a couple of clouds out there. We do have to talk about this active weather moving in for the weekend, so we will detail it coming up. But for now, Michelle and Zarida, I'll send it back to you.
Thank you, Lindsay. Well, it's not just the CNE this weekend. There are a number of big events across the city, including Ed Sheeran performing 3 nights at Rogers Centre and BTS doing 2 shows at Rogers Stadium.
French DJ Ugel is performing at the RBC Amphitheatre, and Nigerian singer and rapper Asake is at Scotiabank Arena. Add to that a Toronto Argos game at BMO Field. So that means a lot of people are going to be trying to get around, and transit officials say they're ready. CTV's John Musselman is live tonight at Union Station with more. John.
And you're right, Sarah. There's also typical weekend festivals going on as well. So that means thousands of people will need to be moved around this city. And the transit officials we spoke to today say they are ready.
Union Station is the busiest transit hub in the country, with hundreds of thousands passing through here every day. And this weekend, it will get even busier. Major events across the city means thousands will be boarding trains, buses, and subways. BTS will be at the Rogers Stadium up in Downsview. Ed Sheeran is downtown at the Rogers Centre. And tomorrow, the CNE opens to the public, plus the CFL game has the Argos hosting Hamilton. Transit officials say they are increasing service to help people get to the CNE and to the concerts at Downsview this weekend.
We will have our rapid response teams. We'll have the different express bus routes functioning. We'll have the 509, 511. We'll have our customer service agents on board. So we deal with the customers. We'll deal with any issues that should occur in a rapid response time, so it doesn't impact upon service. So we're not starting from zero. We're starting from a very strong position.
Transit staff will also be available with information and directions. Officials at Metrolinx will also be increasing service to help people get in and out of the city for these major events.
We're going to have additional weekday and evening trains. For instance, those wanting to stay in the city longer. We're going to be offering Lakeshore West evening train leaving approximately 12:17 a.m. as opposed to 11:47 p.m., along with some additional go buses leaving Union Station later on in the evening.
Transit users we spoke with today say they're confident things will run smoothly this weekend.
I think that they are. There was lots of announcements while we were riding the train about how they've added more.
I've taken it a few times and it's been okay for me.
It's been improving, so I think hopefully they would be able to keep up.
And if you are planning on attending any of these events, transit officials say the GO train and TTC remain your best options to avoid traffic delays on area highways.
And also delays on local roads like you see behind me. It is very busy downtown right now, I can tell you that. And TTC says they learned a lot during the World Cup, so that they think may help them handle what they're going to see this weekend. Reporting live, I'm John Musselman. I'll send it back to you.
Summer in the city. Thank you, John. And among all the people expected to flood Toronto this weekend, an army of BTS fans eager for 2 long-awaited sold-out shows and showing their love for the K-pop band around town. We'll catch up with them later in the newscast.
In other news, police are investigating after shots were fired in Etobicoke overnight. Officers were called to a home on Upper Humber Drive near Finch in the 427. They found evidence of gunfire and several shell casings on the driveway. No injuries have been reported. Police have not provided any details about possible suspects.
I see that 3 days ago, the shot in the morning, 3 a.m. and it's scary that time, and I see yesterday night again, same thing. But I see some problem there, and it's scary.
So you said your wife heard?
Yes, 3 a.m. in the morning. And again, same yesterday, same time, 3 to 3:30 a.m. But I didn't hear, my wife heard it, and it's scary. She said, again, it's happening.
And shots were fired in North York overnight. Police called to a home on Burnett Avenue near Yonge and Shepherd, where they found multiple shell casings. Investigators have not provided any details about possible suspects. No injuries reported.
Police are searching for a man accused of sexually assaulting a 6-year-old child at a downtown park. They released these images of the suspect on Tuesday afternoon. Police were called to Roundhouse Park near Bremner and Lower Simcoe for reports of a sexual assault. Investigators say the child was playing on trains in the park when a man walked up and sexually assaulted them. The suspect was then confronted by a parent and ran away. Police are asking anyone with information to come forward.
And a local soccer coach has been arrested for allegedly sexually assaulting a young person during lessons. 23-year-old Zachary Weinstein is charged with sexual assault and sexual interference. The charges are related to a one-on-one lesson that happened Monday in Vaughan, in the area of Martin Grove and Milano Avenue near Langstaff. Police say Weinstein runs a private coaching business in the GTA and also runs one-on-one lessons near Coronation Street and Morningstar Drive. Investigators are concerned there may be other victims. Just days after Ontario implemented a law requiring cash bail up front, one judge appears to want no part of it.
As CTV's John Woodward reports, the decision has rallied those who believe the new law is unconstitutional.
When Halton police arrested 9 people in Project Troubadour last month in a human trafficking investigation, they laid 85 charges, their largest bust in 15 years.
A coordinated human trafficking network responsible for exploiting female victims in the commercial sex trade.
One of those arrested sought bail at Milton Superior Court, and it was granted this week with a twist. Rather than demand bail up front, which is what Ontario's new law requires, Justice Scott Cohen required the accused and their sureties to pledge a total of $11,000. Reporting Cohen's reasoning is prohibited by a publication ban. A constitutional challenge to the law filed on Monday argues when a provincial law conflicts with a federal law, in this case the criminal code, the federal law comes out on top.
There's a concept called paramountcy, which basically means that if the federal government has legislated in an area like criminal procedure and bail, the provincial government can't pass a law that seeks to essentially do an end run around what the criminal code requires.
Shakir Rahim with the Canadian Civil Liberties Association is among those challenging the law, saying it interferes with federal jurisdiction and also treats the rich differently than the poor.
It creates 2 tiers of justice. That's the reason why cash bail was abolished as a mandatory or pervasive requirement in Canada. This happened back in 1972.
A premier's office spokesperson said in a statement the justice system has a responsibility to keep human traffickers behind bars, though a core tenet of Canada's legal system is accused are innocent until proven guilty.
I think that it's likely that other judges will look to that ruling.
The constitutional challenge treated as urgent by the courts. It was filed on Monday, the same day the rules came into effect, and judges will hear it next week. John Woodward, CTV News.
Days after stepping down as a Liberal MP, Sean Chen says he will be running for City Council. Chen says he plans to register as a candidate for council in Ward 23, Scarborough North. He served as MP for the riding since 2015. Chen stepped down August 15th in order to deal with health issues from a serious crash he was involved in while commuting to Ottawa last year.
And the day after longtime Toronto Danforth councillor Paula Fletcher announced her surprise retirement, the school board trustee for that ward announced she will run to replace her. Sarah Earhart joins 5 other candidates looking to represent Ward 14 at City Hall. She's been the trustee for Toronto Danforth since 2022. Fletcher has represented the ward since 2003. Meanwhile, the deadline to enter municipal elections across the province is tomorrow, and it appears fewer people are seeking office. In the last election, just over 6,300 candidates ran for 2,800 seats, but more than 550 were uncontested, meaning candidates were acclaimed. The Association of Municipalities of Ontario is expressing concern and urging people to run for office, stressing the impact of local government on everyday life. There are no uncontested races in Toronto.
The Scarborough busway is set to open next month, 6 months ahead of schedule.
By September 30th, Scarborough residents will get faster, more affordable transit. Each week, 120,000 riders will save over an hour traveling on the speedy busway. Look down this road. You can get your express bus here, 4 kilometers to Ellesmere. No lights, no congestion, nothing to slow you down.
For transit riders, reliability and efficiency matter. Every minute saved on your commute is more time you get to spend with friends, more times you get to spend shopping, more times you get to spend just relaxing and enjoying this great city. Scarborough residents deserve, like every other resident in the city, transit that is dependable, convenient, and the busway will deliver that.
The busway was planned after the Scarborough RT was taken out of commission after it derailed in 2023. The $97 million project is meant to be an interim measure to speed up traffic until the Scarborough subway extension is finished. It will follow the same route as the former RT line from Kennedy Station to Scarborough Town Centre.
Ontario Education Minister Paul Calandra was asked about the labour unrest among some of the province's education unions this morning. He says he expects the school year to begin as usual.
I still remain very optimistic, to be honest with you. We've engaged, I think, in over 40 different sessions on bargaining. I know that there is some voluntary arbitration that is also happening. There has been a bit of an impasse on some of the things which will be negotiated centrally and those which will be negotiated locally. But this is not something new. It's certainly not something that is unexpected. We remain committed to get a negotiated settlement so that teachers have certainty, parents have certainty, and students have the best opportunity to succeed.
Earlier this week, the heads of several teachers and education unions said that strike action is not off the table if they fail to carve out new contracts with the government. Bargaining was paused for every union but the Ontario English Catholic Teachers Association over a dispute regarding which issues are negotiated with the province at a centralized versus local level. Most students in the province will be heading back to class on September 8th.
Turning now to the latest on the wildfire situation in northern Ontario. Canadian and Mexican crews are keeping up efforts to control the massive Rinker Lake complex fire north of Thunder Bay. Officials say activity remained low through yesterday evening. This morning, the province revoked its evacuation and implementation orders related to those fires. They covered a number of communities west of Lake Nipigon. Use of roads and lakes there is now allowed once again. Across the northwest, there was one new fire confirmed yesterday for a total of 69 active fires, 7 of them out of control. In the northeast, there was also one new fire yesterday for a total of 42, 1 deemed out of control.
In BC, activity has picked up at the Ball Range fire near Summerland due to persistent hot and dry conditions. Winds reaching 30 kilometers an hour are expected to fan the flames as firefighters also deal with difficult terrain. But most of the evacuation orders for the area have been downgraded to alerts. The 227 square kilometer blaze began nearly 2 weeks ago. It's one of about 120 burning in the province.
A Russian missile and drone barrage killed at least 16 people in Ukraine's Kyiv region today. The capital and surrounding areas were struck in a nighttime attack that lasted for hours. About 40 people were injured as air raid warnings lasted until after dawn. More than 38,000 people sheltered in Kyiv's subway stations overnight. Ukraine's president called it a massive attack that was planned to cause as much damage as possible to civilian infrastructure. Strikes were recorded at 28 locations across the country.
Canada's Foreign Affairs Minister has responded after Israel exonerated its military in the deaths of 7 aid workers, including a Canadian. Anita Anand had this reaction on X today, saying in part, quote, "The IDF's decision not to pursue a criminal investigation into the killing of 7 World Central Kitchen humanitarian workers, including Jacob Flingerer, a Canadian citizen, is unacceptable. Serious failures were identified in the conduct of the strike, and closing the case without further accountability leaves their families without the answers they have sought for more than 2 years. Flingerer and his colleagues were killed in an Israeli airstrike on their convoy in Gaza. The aid group said it had coordinated with Israel about the convoy's movement. The military said it mistakenly identified the workers as Hamas operatives, but says it did not amount to criminal misconduct.
Donald Trump appears set to try a new approach as there are no signs the conflict with Iran will be ending anytime soon. The U.S. president is now warning of economic warfare. Trump posted this on Truth Social, saying in part, "No one has given the Islamic Republic of Iran a greater opportunity to make a deal than me. Tragically for them, they have failed to take it. Therefore, today I am announcing the most crushing economic operation ever taken against any country. This will be economic warfare and isolation on an unprecedented scale." The president warned of economic consequences for any nation that helps Iran. He did not name any countries or specify steps the U.S. would take. Tehran says the threat will only increase hostility.
Meanwhile, the former Crown Prince of Iran has accepted an invitation from Pierre Poilievre to visit Canada. The Conservative leader says he will meet with him virtually. Poilievre believes it's a chance to discuss democracy and safety for the Iranian diaspora. The former Crown Prince sees himself as Iran's best chance to return to democratic freedoms experienced before the 1979 Islamic Revolution.
The Duke and Duchess of Sussex are reportedly returning to the UK to live. And today, the Prime Minister was asked about an important issue for the couple, their security, and who will pay for it.
Well, this is a private matter. It's a matter for Harry and for Meghan, and we wish them well in the move that they're making.
Harry and Meghan's security has been a contentious matter since they lost automatic police protection after stepping down from royal duties in 2020 and subsequently challenged those arrangements in court. The couple is reportedly moving from the U.S. to a residence outside London later this month. The King has said there will be no change to their status as non-working members of the royal family. Coming up, could a Vancouver man who vanished decades ago be this mystery man in Amsterdam who authorities have struggled to identify? The efforts to piece together the past of the person they call Lucky.
Only hours to go until the kickoff of the CNE, which is often synonymous with the end of summer. But hey, it's a great looking summer day for tomorrow. A little more comfortable than we've been in recent weeks with loads of sunshine. The rest of your weekend forecast looks a little bit different. We are expecting periods of rain, maybe some thunderstorms on Saturday with perhaps some heavy downpours. And then it will be on and off showers into the day on Sunday. Coming up, I'll give you an idea of which part of the province could be hardest hit. That's after the break here on CTV News. Stay with us.
Thanks.
Police in Vancouver are working with European investigators to solve a cold case mystery.
They're trying to figure out if a British Columbia man who has been missing for decades is the same man who mysteriously showed up in an Amsterdam hospital without an identity. CTV's Andrew Johnson has the story.
This is the man known as Lucky. He spends his days in a nursing home ever since he suffered a stroke on the streets of Amsterdam 3 years ago. He woke up in the hospital diagnosed with aphasia, a language disorder that left him unable to speak. His identity, say Dutch investigators, a mystery.
Geen pasjes, niks. De politie staat voor een raadsel. Hoe achterhaal je de identiteit van iemand die niet kan vertellen wie hij is?
Dutch police went looking for information, people who knew Lucky, and began to piece together his past.
Schat helemaal rijk zijn, maar tegelijkertijd zwierf door de straat in Amsterdam.
He was known in the local Buddhist community and regularly frequented a nearby market and restaurants. Lucky was also known by several other names, including Chris the Canadian. Still stumped, Dutch investigators posted the story to social media, and someone online made this connection. Lucky looks a lot like Vancouver missing man John Russell Kenny. He lost contact with his family 33 years ago and would now be 67.
They definitely look similar, but again, 30 years can do a lot to a person.
The Vancouver Police Missing Person Unit is now collaborating with their counterparts in the Netherlands and Interpol.
This is definitely a unique experience, especially it's on the international platform, so we are always excited to help. And if this does in fact be him, would be exciting news.
Vancouver police have provided fingerprints that will now be compared with Lucky's to see if they're a match.
On VPD's cold case website, Kenny is described as someone who suffered from mental health issues and was transient in nature. Dutch police have no idea how he may have managed to live under the radar in Amsterdam for decades. Hopefully, they may have some answers soon. Andrew Johnson, CTV News, Vancouver.
Can't wait to see if there's a match there. Here in the city, it is a beautiful evening. Actually, not that hot compared to, some of the other days. So I'd say quite comfortable.
It was actually, I feel, a little bit on the cool side. To start off the day, and then at night, too, it gets cool. So I don't know if this is a seasonal thing because we're sort of mid-late August.
Yeah, I mean, we are starting to see our seasonal norms creep down a little bit. Earlier on, Zoraida, we were talking about how you needed a hoodie this morning.
That maybe it was overkill.
Oh, but the daylight, too.
That's
less
true.
daylight. And it's noticeable at 8 o'clock now.
And it's all relative, of course. We're not used to temperatures in the low double digits, and we're going to experience that again overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning. So keep the hoodie handy. And this weekend, you're likely to need the umbrella, maybe a couple of times. Here's a live look outside. You don't need the umbrella right now unless it's for shade. We've got beautiful sunshine out there. Hey, speaking of an umbrella and shade, maybe it's a nice evening for a patio, because in about 48 hours from now, it might be less ideal for spending time on a patio. And I know we have a big concert happening, a couple of big concerts, in fact, happening in our city on Saturday night. So let's give you an idea of what's expected here. Yeah, we're anticipating some wet weather over the weekend. We've had a couple of showers to the east of Georgian Bay and through parts of cottage country over toward the border with Quebec. It is dry across the southwest around the Golden Horseshoe. There's the cloudiness that was with us earlier today. That has moved out. High pressure is going to hold for tomorrow, and that means loads of sunshine, at least for us here in the lower Great Lakes. Here's what's happening, though. We've got a big disturbance brewing for the weekend, and so your Friday is dry in most parts of southern Ontario. Great looking day, comfortable temperatures once again. We'll get to that momentarily. Now we start to see the threat of active weather move in on Saturday. Morning still looks pretty dry around the GTA, even the early afternoon, but you can see that some areas are now starting to be impacted by perhaps some thunderstorms, likely some heavy downpours, and this is mainly across southwest Ontario, but here in the GTA, expect some wet weather by the time we reach the late afternoon. Early evening, overnight into Sunday, on and off showers are going to continue, and then hopefully we will start to dry out after that. I anticipate that these numbers are going to fluctuate quite a bit as we continue to get a handle on how these storms and downpours could play out. But right now it's looking like areas like London could see significant rainfall. I do think we will also see more than 5 millimeters of rain here in Toronto. But again, things could change. And if you do have outdoor plans, perhaps you're crossing your fingers that we only get about 5 millimeters of rain. But it's been an interesting summer so far. We've had quite a few situations, events where we have had significant downpours. 22 degrees right now. Seasonal norm is 25. Record to beat today was 35. We were nowhere near that. 12 is what we're forecasting for a low tonight, but single digits in places like Waterloo as well as Bancroft. So yes, it's starting to happen. There's tomorrow at a glance. After a bit of a cool start, it's going to be a beautiful afternoon at the CNE or wherever you find yourself on Friday afternoon. Temperatures in the mid-20s. Not a whole lot of humidity, at least not oppressive humidity. Your 7-day forecast looks like this. So yeah, it is a bit of an unsettled weekend and cool Sunday and into Monday. We are below seasonal for daytime highs. That's the weather for now. Michelle, over to you.
Thank you, Lindsay. Also tonight, a cybersecurity incident at Sick Kids. The hospital reveals personal information was accessed. We'll tell you who is impacted. Health experts are weighing in after a new type of treatment reportedly showed positive results in late-stage trials.
Moderna says the findings concern an experimental cancer vaccine targeting the deadliest form of skin cancer, melanoma. Moderna and Merck are developing the treatment together. It relies on mRNA technology. That's the same technology that's used in COVID vaccines. The cancer shots are personalized for each patient, and they're designed to teach their immune systems to recognize the unique genetic fingerprint of their cancer. The companies say when paired with an existing immunotherapy, the new vaccine treatment helped reduce the risk of cancer returning or spreading further.
I want to clarify that although we call it vaccine, this is not a preventative vaccine. This is more of a therapeutic vaccine to treat cancer rather than prevent cancer. We haven't had much success with this in the past, and this is the first time also with the mRNA platform. So from scientific point of view, it is very exciting, but we haven't seen the data yet. So we don't, it's just a press release saying that this is a positive trial. So how much positive it is, as in how much it improved outcomes. And we know that survival outcomes are still immature, so it's more about preventing relapse in the future. But by how much magnitude it is, that will tell us more about how much excited to be about this. But from purely scientific standpoint, most of similar trials have been negative in the past, and this is the first time we are seeing a positive trial, so that is exciting.
Moderna and Merck say they plan to present the full study results at an upcoming international medical meeting. There's no timeline on when they might apply for regulatory approval of the experimental treatment.
Sick Kids tells CTV News it's responding to a cybersecurity incident that resulted in unauthorized access to its systems. The Hospital for Sick Children says personal information of some current and former employees may have been compromised. The incident affected its external careers website, so data belonging to job applicants may also have been impacted. Sick Kids notes an ongoing investigation has linked the breach to a vulnerability in a third-party application, and it's alerted all potentially affected individuals. It also says clinical systems and patient information were not affected, nor was patient care. The hospital adding in a statement, safeguarding the privacy and security of personal information is a responsibility Sick Kids takes seriously. We remain committed to maintaining strong protections and continuously enhancing our cybersecurity measures to help protect the information entrusted to us.
The federal transport regulator has ordered WestJet to get rid of its 300-pound weight limit on power wheelchairs. The Canadian Transportation Agency said the policy effectively bars travelers living with a disability from boarding the carrier's planes. The decision said WestJet should use spreader plates to better distribute the wheelchair's weight in the cargo hold and arrange alternative travel with other airlines until it's possible. The case was brought by former federal Minister of State for Transport Stephen Fletcher after he was stopped from flying with his custom wheelchair between Winnipeg and Toronto last year.
While production of Season 2 continues, heated rivalry today received the top honor at the Television Critics' Choice Awards.
You will not be so nice when we beat you.
That's not happening.
The Crave-produced Hockey Romance was named Program of the Year by the organization, which represents critics on both sides of the border. CTV and Crave are divisions of Bell Media. Apple's horror comedy was also well represented, winning 3 awards, including Outstanding New Program and Outstanding Achievement in Comedy. HBO's medical series The Pit won the Top Drama Award for the 2nd year in a row.
Reports out of Hollywood suggest the team behind James Bond is approaching a decision on the next actor to take on the iconic role.
Name? Bond. James
Bond.
Daniel Craig stepped down from the role after 2021's No Time to Die. Last year, Canada's own Denis Villeneuve was revealed as the director of the next film in the spy franchise. Sources tell Deadline the team has started informing talent if they've made the next round of auditions, scheduled for sometime later this month. Previous reports suggested they were seeking someone fitting the prototype of Jacob Elordi, Harris Dickinson, or Callum Turner, but there are no specific names in the running. Amazon MGM has not commented.
Help me go home.
Staying at the movies, Variety and other outlets today report The Odyssey has set another box office record. It's now the highest grossing R-rated movie of all time. It's brought in more than $1.35 billion US in worldwide ticket sales, surpassing 2024's Deadpool and Wolverine. The star of that franchise, Canadian Ryan Reynolds, shared his congratulations to the cast and crew of The Odyssey for the achievement. The star-studded adaptation of Homer's epic previously became director Christopher Nolan's top-grossing film, beating 2012's The Dark Knight Rises.
Looking for a place to impress? We're heading somewhere where the food, the flavors, and the atmosphere set the mood for a memorable night out. Date night just got a little more delicious. Tucked into the heart of Whitby, this spot offers the kind of experience that's all about great food, good vibes, and dishes you'll want to talk about long after the last bite. Let's head inside and check out what's on the menu. Whether you're sharing plates, sipping on something special, or settling in for a relaxed night out, it's the perfect place to turn an ordinary evening into something special. Okay, Kira, Andrew, 110 Kitchen and Bar. I'm already really impressed. What is the atmosphere of this restaurant?
So right when you walk in, we love to have that fun, vibey kind of music. Our nice warm lamps we have on the tables. We love that mood lighting to really, warm up the place.
The vision behind it was really to bring a downtown-style restaurant out to Durham, and so we feel like we've nailed that.
So take me through what you might have or featured on the menu.
To start, we have the beautiful shared app that we love with our guests. So this is the cast iron baked brie with some candied pecan and a mixed berry compote. This is our heirloom tomato burrata and watermelon salad. So lots of fresh flavor, big hunk of burrata in the middle with a balsamic glaze drizzled on top. This is one of our most popular dishes. This is a steak frit. Fries are tossed in like a herb parmesan dressing, and then we have a nice jus that goes on top of the steak. And you'll taste that peppercorn gravy on top, lots of flavor, and same again with the salt with the Parmesan on the fries. It all works nicely together. This is our braised short rib. So the chefs work hard on it. It's braised for hours until it's really soft. You don't even, I put the steak knife there, but you really don't even need it. It's right off the bone.
Oh, it is. Look how easily that pulls apart, and the potato as well. Another big bite. Oh, I apologize. This is just so delicious.
And you'll really taste all that rosemary in the potato there. It's quite nice. Yeah? Good. We got the thumbs up. So this is a layered espresso martini cake.
Thank you, chef.
Cheers.
Thank you, 110 Kitchen and Bar. Give a hammock for a siesta.
We have it in the back.
This is so good. I want to have all of it. From the first bite to the final toast, this is the kind of place that turns date night into an experience. So grab someone special and make your next night out one to remember. Full details at cp24.com.
Walmart shares tumbled today after the retailer reported slowing sales. BNN Bloomberg's Morella Fernandez has more.
The stock ended the day down over 9%. Sales were actually up 2.6% for Walmart's latest quarter, but that's far from the 4% sales the giant retailer reported at the start of the year. Walmart's profit was boosted by a tariff refund of $2.9 billion US it got from Washington. That money is being used to help keep prices low. Tariff refunds have also helped Deere, the world's largest manufacturer of farm equipment. It reported quarterly revenue of $11 billion. The company's construction and forestry sales were up 18% year over year, boosted by the AI data center build. Bloomberg reporting today that AI company Anthropic expects to match or beat the initial public offering of SpaceX. Anthropic owns Claude, an AI assistant that rivals ChatGPT. SpaceX, Elon Musk's rocket and satellite company, raised $75 billion U.S. when it went public in June. Anthropic's mega IPO could happen as soon as the end of August. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is down to 72.50 U.S. West Texas Intermediate up to 87.83 U.S. a barrel. Western Canadian Select up to 65.83. And the TSX lost 36 points today. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marella Fernandez.
Canada's biggest grocery chains may have found themselves in a sticky situation as a dispute over maple syrup sales heads to court in Quebec. The lawsuit first named a producer accused of cutting syrup with cane sugar. But the plaintiff has expanded the claim to accuse Loblaws, Metro, and Sobeys of negligence. It alleges diluted maple syrup made it onto store shelves and was sold as the real thing. And it seeks $100 payments and refunds for impacted customers. A Metro spokesperson didn't comment, while Loblaws told CTV it plans to contest authorization of the suit.
The head of the Ontario Honda Dealers Indy at Markham is apologizing after fans went home disappointed on the event's opening day on Friday. Jeff Atkinson says setting up the track and getting it approved by safety inspectors was the biggest challenge facing the event. His team was not able to get the course ready on time, leading to Friday's full day of on-track activities to be canceled. Atkinson has apologized for the failure, but says he is proud of how the event came together overall.
The Toronto Blue Jays wrapped up their visit to St. Petersburg, Florida this afternoon, looking for another series win.
2-2 pitch, and it's hit softly to the right side, and nobody's going to get it. And somehow that's going to score 2 runs.
How about that? The Jays were up 3-1 when George Springer's single in the 7th extended the lead, and that would be all they needed. Toronto wins 5-1 over Tampa. Kazuma Okamoto, Nathan Lukes, and Daz Cameron all homered for the visitors. The Jays are now half a game out of that final wild card spot.
Andres Jimenez had to leave the game in the 4th inning following a hard sprint to first base. The two-time Gold Glove shortstop pulled up after crossing the base, grabbing his right hamstring. The team later announced that he had hamstring tightness, but says he still has some good strength and mobility. Jimenez is not scheduled for an MRI. The club wants to see how he is tomorrow. The Jays begin a 3-game series in New York against the Yankees tomorrow night.
Meantime, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is making a rehab start with Class A Dunedin tonight after being placed in concussion protocol. The 6-time All-Star left Friday's game against the Yankees after taking a knee to the head while sliding into third. He's eligible to come off the injured list Saturday and could potentially be in the Jays lineup. Tonight, Vladdy will be the designated hitter, batting third in Clearwater, Florida.
Scarborough's Jamal Magloire will be inducted into the Canadian Basketball Hall of Fame tonight. Magloire was the first Canadian to suit up for the Toronto Raptors when he joined the team in 2011. He played 12 NBA seasons and was named an All-Star in 2004 while with the Memphis Grizzlies. More recently, Magloire served as an assistant coach with the Raptors during their 2018-2019 championship season. He is currently vice president of the Scarborough Shooting Stars of the Canadian Elite Basketball League. Magloire is one of 10 people who will be enshrined during this evening's ceremony in St. Stephen, New Brunswick.
Still ahead, anticipating the arrival of BTS in town. Fans in a frenzy over the K-pop group's 2 sold-out shows. We catch up with members of the BTS Army.
Get Toronto's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
As we mentioned earlier in the newscast, a busy weekend in the city, and one of the biggest attractions is the return of BTS.
The K-pop icons are making their first stop in Toronto in a decade. CTV's Jessica Smith has more on the excitement ahead of a pair of concerts.
BTS is back in Toronto. The K-pop supergroup is bringing their Arirang World Tour right here to Rogers Stadium for 2 back-to-back shows this weekend. Roughly 50,000 fans are expected each night of the 2 sold-out shows. According to Rogers Stadium on their website, gates open 4 hours before the show, meaning for the 8 p.m. concerts both nights, gates expected to open at 4 p.m. The City of Toronto is embracing the BTS mania. City Council agreed to a temporary renaming of a portion of Yonge Street from North York Boulevard to Finch Avenue to BTS Boulevard. According to a notice of motion from the City of Toronto, it goes on in part to say fans will be given permission to dance as they gather along Yonge Street, providing North York with an opportunity to showcase Koreatown North, that is hosting the largest Korean festival in Canada at Mel Lastman Square over the weekend. Fans can make their way along honorary BTS Boulevard with photo ops everywhere. The temporary name change is expected to be in place from August 21st until September 23rd. Fans lined up early this morning for a pop-up at Yorkdale Mall where they could customize merchandise, with excitement bubbling over ahead of the back-to-back shows this weekend.
It's been a long time coming, and it just feels so special to see the boys like back in Toronto, back in Canada, and I know like the city is like doing all that they can to welcome them.
I'm going on Saturday. Yeah, I flew in from Calgary yesterday, and then my aunt drove me. We left at like 6 a.m. to get here this morning.
Definitely their music just really speaks to you, and they always cover really deep subject matters, and we just really love them. We're so excited.
Now, this is the first time BTS is back in the city in nearly 10 years, and the fandom cannot wait. The BTS army is for sure looking forward to it. I'll send things back inside to the studio.
Thank you, Jess. And rain or shine, you know those fans will be at Rogers Stadium taking in everything. But you hope it doesn't rain too hard.
Ponchos, maybe, just in case?
Ponchos, absolutely. Even if it's not looking that rainy. I think we know a few folks who have been thankful to have the poncho at a few concerts this summer and last summer, too. So, yes, enjoy everyone who's headed to the concert on Saturday and Sunday night. Here's tomorrow. Great-looking day. And at night, those midway lights, it's going to be a beautiful evening to enjoy the first full day of the CNE. But a reminder, here's a look at what's coming. It is going to be fairly unsettled, especially the second half of the day on Saturday, and then it's on and off showers into the day on Sunday. One more look at your 7-day forecast shows some cooler conditions into next week as well. Michelle and Zoraida.
Thank you, Lindsay. That's it for us, but be sure to join Omar Sachedine at 11 tonight for CTV National News, followed by none other than Zoraida Allman with your next local newscast at 11:30.
In the meantime, our coverage continues anytime on CP24 and online at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For Lindsay Morrison and the whole team here at CTV News, thanks for watching and have a great night. We'll see you at 11:30.